how to spot altcoin breakouts before others. And of course, I'm going to be talking about some specific patterns I have been talking about on my channel here, especially one that you guys probably have been missing if you guys are newbies in this game, and you definitely want to be paying attention because these setups are lower risk and they are usually moves before they're about to happen. And our all-time highs going to be happening for this week. I'm going to say yes, it's very likely. Okay, it's very possible. I will point out to you guys why that is, why I think that on the charts. And what I'm talking about here is for Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin is the driver of this market. If Bitcoin pumps, that's very good for the markets. If Bitcoin dumps, that's very bad for the markets. Whenever I trade altcoins, I always keep in mind of the Bitcoin charts in the back of my head before any altcoin setups. We're also going to be taking a look into some major crypto news and talking about some major, some altcoin setups, which would include TARS AI. What else? TARS AI. We're also going to be taking a look into Kaspa, SEI. See what's going on in these markets. Updating you guys on their price targets, on their current trading patterns. And let's dive right into it. Let's take a look into some major crypto news here first. This is by The Block. Anthony Pompliano's Bitcoin treasury company, ProCap, buys first $385 million worth of Bitcoin. I mentioned Anthony Pompliano yesterday with the news that was provided by TradingView. Of course, you can pull these news from TradingView. Um, and that's good for him. I mean, I have been listening to his podcast for quite some time, since 2022. And before that, he was one of the first Bitcoin influencers I have started listening to. And I thought a lot of what he says makes sense. That was since 2019. And that's very good to see someone doing well and now, buying his first $385 million worth of Bitcoin with his company here. Let's go on to the next piece. This is by Cointelegraph. How to use Grok for real-time crypto trading signals. Now, I have not used Grok for real-time trading signals. If you guys don't know what Grok is, that's basically the AI chatbot on Twitter or X. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. I have not really used Grok. I use ChatGPT to get more efficient answers, and I can get pretty good answers about technical analysis on ChatGPT. So if you guys have actually used Grok for real-time trading signals, let me know how that goes. Okay, I really want to know. Next one here is going to be by Cointelegraph. June remains Bitcoin's danger zone, while S&P 500 eyes summer rally. I kind of disagree that Bitcoin is in a danger zone right now. I thought the danger zone would have been probably Sunday when it dipped down to about 98,000. But now we have all types of reversal signals, and I think a possible all-time high could be reached this week. Okay. And of course, the S&P 500 is very correlated with Bitcoin. So if it's going to eye a rally, I think that's also going to set Bitcoin off as well, which means that it's going to set the altcoins off as well. Next one is by Cointelegraph. Okay, Bitcoin's 105k trend switch comes as Fed hints at July rate cut. Now, some of these headlines is like, you can't take it verbatim, right? You can't take it at its value, because let's take a look. This is the CME Watch tool, which has been very accurate in predicting Fed rate cuts. Okay, I've been using this for I would say about 2 years, right? And the probabilities are pretty accurate. I don't think it's been wrong, especially when it's projecting out to the next Fed meeting. And if you guys want to see this CME Fed tool, it's on cmegroup.com. Okay, so the July Fed meeting, the probability of the East, it's actually 19%. So I don't know what that rate cut headline is talking about, but I mean it hasn't changed by that much. I know a couple of days ago it was like under 10%, so it has jumped, but it's not. I mean it's not in favor of a rate cut right now for July. What it does look a lot more favorable right now is September, where it actually has an over 80% of an ease now, for a 25 basis points ease. Okay, so September, it looks like it's likely according to the CME Watch tool. Of course, this thing could change, especially with new data comes out. But as of right now, it looks pretty good for September. So, you just gotta be critical when it comes to reading headlines, because you can't take it word for word. Next one, crypto staking in 2025. SEC's new rule makes these methods fully legal. Now, if you guys are into staking your crypto, I am not. I am mainly a trader, right? You guys probably want to read into this piece of news here. I'm not going to get into the details, but I am pulling all these news from TradingView. Okay, if you guys don't have TradingView and you guys are newbies, definitely want to get TradingView. Okay, they have plans for under $20 per month. If you're trying to trade this market without TradingView, you guys are basically just walking blind in this market. I mean, you guys could use the exchange charts, but they're not as good, nearly as good. Okay, I've been using TradingView for over 5+ years. So definitely recommend it. I do have an affiliate link in the video description section below. Check it out. I will get a commission if you sign up using my link, and that supports my channel. All right, let's go on to the next important thing here, which is Bitcoin. Okay, I know some of you guys, some of my viewers, tell me that Bitcoin is not as big as what I say it is, but all things aside, let me just ask a valid question here. Okay, I think this is a very valid question. Bitcoin dominance is 65%. What does that mean? That means Bitcoin's market share actually takes up 65% of the crypto markets. Now, you tell me that's not going to be the main thing here in the crypto world. I mean, the number speaks for itself. The next thing that I want to bring up is if we actually take a look at moving averages. Okay, of course, I'm talking about now. I mean, maybe in the future, it could change. But what is happening right now is if you actually compare moving averages, Bitcoin is actually ahead, on top of its moving averages, ahead of Ethereum, ahead of Toto 3. So we're talking about just the subdivisions of the crypto markets. Bitcoin is moving ahead of the other major markets, Ethereum, Toto 3. If you just take a look and measure it by moving averages. All right, let's go. Let's go ahead. Go ahead and get to the next piece here. Is an all-time high possible this week? I think it's very possible, and let me explain why. Let's take a look into ES1 exclamation mark, which is S&P 500 futures here, real quick. It's basically knocking on the doors of the all-time high, which was about just right underneath 6,200 here. Okay, we're right under that right now. And if we actually take a look into the RSI here, this is the weekly time frame. This is actually if I'm looking at possible weakness. So if there is weakness, there's usually going to be divergence possible, and that usually means a pullback. Uh, if we actually compare weekly time frame here, we're basically at a reading of 60. And if we compare it to the previous high, which is about 62, 63, I think this is very beatable. There is a high chance that if the stock market pulls a strong move here, there's not going to be a divergence scenario that indicates usually a pullback. Okay, 3-day time frame, S&P 500. Okay, if we actually compare this high with a possible high that could come on this 3-day candle or the next 3-day candle, we're basically looking to beat a RSI reading of about 60. We're basically already there, and this 3-day candle still has over 1 day of time to actually make a move. Okay, if it was to make a higher high. Daily time frame for S&P 500. Again, I am just talking about the strength of the move here. It's already beaten this RSI reading, okay, at about 60. So I don't see a possible um, bearish divergence scenario here, or weakness indicator here, right? Because we're already at 65, and the last high on this daily time frame was at 61. So that is why I think it's very likely that this is going to drive Bitcoin as well, because they're highly correlated. And if the stock market makes an all-time high this week, I think it's very possible that Bitcoin does as well. And let's just come over here to the Bitcoin charts. Okay, coming over to the Bitcoin chart here, we are still running within a falling wedge pattern with the price target of about 120K, just short of that. If it breaks out by that point, price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Okay. Now, of course, what I'm saying here is purely my opinions and speculations, none of which what I'm saying here in this video is financial advice. Okay, do your own due diligence. But I think it's very possible that we see all-time highs this week. Okay, because of what I just mentioned. Now, if Bitcoin is actually able to get to 120K, that tells me it's going to break this cup and handle pattern, which is more noticeable on the weekly time frame. Okay, the price target out of this cup and handle pattern is about 145K. Okay, and do we have any possible divergence scenarios on the daily time frame? Yes, there is. If we actually compare the previous high here, it did have a pretty high RSI reading of about 78. Okay, so but I've seen Bitcoin do some pretty crazy things. So and with the stock market looking the way that I mentioned, it is still possible, in my opinion. 3-day time frame, you can do the similar analysis with the previous high of the RSI reading. You can just go down the same logic, right? And of course, the weekly time frame, it's looking like it's very beatable as well. Okay. Monthly time frame, however, there is already bearish divergence, but there has been exceptions, especially when it comes to major breakouts. And I think we're talking about a major breakout here. And I think the exception I'm going to be mentioning is back in December 2020, where there has been bearish divergence on the monthly time frame, but price action kept going. The bulls kept going. All right, let's go over here to TARS AI. Of course, if Bitcoin pumps, that's going to be good for the altcoins. And if it dumps, none of these altcoin setups really matter. Okay. So let's come over here to TARS AI and see what we're looking at here. Last time I've talked about a falling wedge pattern that was on the 4-hour time frame, much more noticeably. Okay, so what has happened with that pattern? Okay, since last time, the falling wedge pattern has actually broken down, but it has actually broken back into the pattern. That was a bear trap, right? The bears tried to break down from this pattern, but the bulls just bought it right back up. That invalidates this pattern. Okay, so what are we looking at right now instead? There's going to be quite a bit of moving averages that's going to be acting as resistance. This orange line here is the 4-hour 200 SMA right underneath 11 cents. Okay, now if TARS AI is actually able to come back up here to retest about 15 cents, this could be forming some type of cup and handle pattern, but it's still too early to say. right? So if you guys want to continue seeing more updates and my commentary on this coin, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, letting me know that you guys want to see more of this. But right now, it is trying to get over some resistances. The daily 21, the daily 50 SMA, right at about 10.5 cents. The blue and the gray line here. So some resistances you guys should be paying attention to are the moving averages across these time frames. All right, so quite a bit at about 10.5, 11 cents, the moving averages. Let's come over here to the monthly time frame where it still looks like it's still got a higher low, which is very important because if you want to see a an uptrend trajectory, you want to see higher highs and higher lows. And if you're able to hold a higher low, the next logical move is a higher high. On the monthly time frame, you still have a higher low, okay? You definitely don't want to see a break. I mean, it's going to be quite a far way down, which is about 2 cents, okay? So that's basically what I'm looking at for TARS AI TAI USDT. Let's come over here to SEI and see what's going on in this market. Let's get an update on what could be happening. Last time I've talked about SEI, I said there was a falling wedge pattern. Okay? That was probably a lot more noticeable on the weekly time frame. I'm going to wait for TradingView to load here. Sometimes it can be kind of slow. All right. All right, falling wedge pattern, very common pattern you guys will see, okay? It usually means that there is going to be a reversal because after an extensive downtrend, the bears are losing strength and the bulls can actually usually breaks out of this pattern, okay? Now, if it breaks out by this point here, which is next week, let's just say, for example, the price target is still about $1.35 price target, okay? Now, just because if the price action breaks out of a pattern and it has a price target does not mean that it's going to 100% get there. There could be a lot of things that could happen. Nothing is 100% in this market. So just plan that with your strategy, okay? Now, come over here to the daily time frame. It broke out of this falling wedge pattern again. So, again, very common pattern you guys probably have been missing, especially if you guys are new. Price target, it has actually broken through that, okay? Daily 200 SMA is going to be the immediate resistance at about 27.5 cents here for SEI. All right, let's come over here to Kaspa, see what's going on with Kaspa. Okay, let's come over here to the weekly time frame. Okay, weekly time frame broke out of this falling wedge pattern again. Price target is going to be about 15 cents for Kaspa. Daily time frame. Daily time frame. Falling wedge again. Okay, it's trying to break out. Price target is going to be about 10 cents. Okay, it's trying to break out right now. Let's see if it's successful. Now, what happens if the price action reaches its price target? What I usually do is, if it consolidates, I would chart the consolidation pattern and see if I can get any clues on if it will continue going or will it pull back from there. Now, this basically wraps it up for this video for today. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Letting me know what you guys want to see. Any technical analysis requests for any coins in this market, I will pick one to do every day. And I'll see you guys next time.